Hey there guys, welcome to Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. And I know it's been a little bit since I posted my last video on this channel, but to go ahead and wrap up 2019, here's my top 10 figures, my personal favorites of course, of the year. Now at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and say some words regarding the channel, where it'll be going in the future, maybe things to look out for, addressing a few things here and there, but for now, let's just go ahead and get my top 10 figures of the year for you guys to enjoy. So, first figure on the list, we have the Star Wars Black Series Phantom Menace Obi-Wan Kenobi with the Ewan McGregor likeness, the bright blue saber. This is mainly for nostalgic purposes, I would argue, mainly because I was a big Phantom Menace kid, as many people were that grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s. Halloween one year I dressed up as this version of Obi-Wan. So you could say I'm pretty fond of the character. And I would say this does a pretty good job of getting that likeness on there. Not a perfect representation. I've seen some people more so comparing him to Arnold Schwarzenegger, if anything, than to Ewan McGregor. But I think this looks really good. The paint detail is all there. It's coming out more so on camera, but the color difference on the actual outfit isn't as noticeable in person. Like, it's there for sure. I think that's supposed to be there, but way more noticeable on camera, I would argue. But either way, this is just a nice representation of that character. I'm happy to have it in Black Series, which is why it made it to the number 10 spot. Next, of course, we have the DC Multiverse Red Robin figure. Now, Tim Drake isn't exactly my favorite character. I do quite enjoy him as Robin, and the Mattel Multiverse line unfortunately ended this year. Mattel's relationship with DC is now over, which is a little sad. You know, their figures weren't great, but, you know, they were my figures. That's the best way to look at them. You know, DC Universe Classics is what got me into 6-inch figure collecting. And honestly, if this is going to be one of the last figures they release, I'm happy to say that they went out with a good note. This figure is great. It's got the double jointed elbows there. It's got the wonderful paint apps, great head sculpt. I mean, I don't know how popular the Red Robin sort of rebirth era design is going to be with people, but I've seen a lot of people get this figure just because it's a good Robin figure. I like the short cape. I like the staff it comes with. Overall, this is just, it's like I said, it's a good note to go out on for the Mattel DC relationship, so I'm really happy with this guy. Good figure. I like it. And now we've got a big boy here, still in the packaging. I feel like last year I did a wrestling figure that was still in the packaging, and we're keeping that trend, obviously. So what we have here is the ringside exclusive, you see there, Undertaker as Kane. So you're probably like, wait, this is a Kane mask, this is the Undertaker. Well, you open this fold here, and so this represents Undertaker disguised as Kane, which you can see in the image here. So this works as a multitude of ways. You have a Kane mask, so you can put it on this Taker, or you can just have him hold it, or you have a Kane head, if you'd rather go that way, so you can have it as a Kane figure, you can have it as an Undertaker figure. It's really, really cool, and the box is just, I don't know, the box is what really sells it for me. I think this is a magnificent box, and as you can see, the Dead Man in Disguise. Really, really cool, unique item. I'm very happy with this. You know, I'm a big Kane guy. Kane is one of my personal favorites. And so to kind of have this unique piece of both the Undertaker's and Kane's history is just really cool. And I think they should definitely do more exclusives like this. Like, this should be the definition of what is a figure exclusive, in my opinion. It's sort of niche, but at the same time cool enough to warrant people getting. Yeah, this is a cool item. So I would say if you're a wrestling fan, try to pick this up, okay? Next figure on here is the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Gold Zeo Ranger. So this figure is the figure that originally released in the San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack, which I was lucky enough to pick up when it went on Hasbro Pulse. I know a lot of people did not get the chance to go ahead and grab that figure, or that 2-pack, I should say, but I really like this guy. I like the gold that they used on there. Now, it's kind of the thing with all Power Ranger figures. Could they have used a more gold, if that makes sense? Sure. But I think what they used here is really good. I like the proportions on these figures. I like the Zeo design, personally. So this is just, it's really, really cool. And I believe that 2-pack is my first San Diego Comic-Con like exclusive figure I've ever purchased, so I don't know. I really like it. Sounds like rain. I don't know. Either way, a really, really cool figure. Very happy to have this, figure represented in my collection. The Obi-Wan fun does not stop with Phantom Menace. Here we have the Clone Wars style Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, this figure was a Walgreens exclusive, and as soon as it was announced, I knew that I had to get it. My first exposure to this version of Obi-Wan, of course, was in the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon series that was featured in the early 2000s. Now, that Obi-Wan had featured the long sort of Episode 2 mullet. This one features the sort of Episode 3 kind of cut to it. So, it's still a really cool figure. The thing about this is that it's mostly just a clone body, which they've already made multiple times with a new head and some cloth on here. But the cloth looks good. I like the way it drapes over the shoulders here. The head sculpt is really good. People were kind of talking about the previous Ewan McGregor head sculpt on that Phantom Menace one. This one is even better. It looks great. The lightsaber looks really good. I noticed lightsabers have kind of gotten a little bit thicker. I prefer the width on this particular blade. I think it looks great. So, once again, Clone Wars, both animated cartoons. Those are some of my favorite eras of Star Wars, considering when I grew up. So it's good to have Clone Wars specific representation. Like, you can't sort of mistake this for anything other than the Clone Wars era. So that's really cool, and I really like it for that reason. Next we have here is the Batman Missions Mattel Mr. Freeze. And, last year I had put the Batman Missions Robin figure on there, and this year we went ahead with Mr. Freeze. For those of you who are unaware, Mr. Freeze is my favorite Batman villain, and one of my favorite villains of all time, mainly because of the Batman the Animated Series interpretation. I was born in 95, so around the late 90s, even films like Batman and Robin, that influenced my interests, and Sub-Zero was also out at the time. And so any chance I get to have a good Mr. Freeze figure, I try to jump on that. And this is just a fun figure. I like his design. He looks like a cool sort of retro look without it being too retro. Comes with a big gun. I feel like this is perfect for kids, and I love it. His dome is removable, so if you don't want the dome for some reason, you can take it off, but you can move his head that way. Either way, I really like this guy. I'm very happy to have a new Mr. Freeze figure on shelves, and I was super stoked when I saw this in store. I had to pick it up. $10, $10 for a figure like this. Yeah, I can't say no. For something completely different, on the other end of the spectrum, we have the Marvel Select Disney Store exclusive Thanos figure. So this came out around the same time as Endgame, but it's based on his comic design here. So you've got the updated sort of detail to it. You've got this sort of helmetless look to him, which of course is more in line with the movie, but is with his comic design. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet here. It looks really great. He's just a beautifully detailed, beautifully painted figure. And that's all we really need with figures like these. He stands tall. He looks menacing. His smile, his smile, it's perfect. This is it's a good Thanos figure. It won't break the bank. Nice hunk of plastic. Nice, beautiful boots. Good proportions. I love this guy. Highly, highly recommend this Marvel Select Thanos. Alright guys, we're in the top 3. What could it be? Lord Zedd. I feel like everyone that was watching the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures, they were looking for this guy. Lord Zedd. When this initially released, this was impossible to find. Now he's a lot more easy to find, I would say. He's pretty average, but Lord Zedd, the Season 2 onward villain of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He's American exclusive. He's iconic with his exposed muscular body and the tubes and the metal. It's this guy's great. And definitely, I don't think this is really any sort of debate going on. This is the best Zedd figure we've ever gotten. And it's great to have a Lord Zedd like this in your collection. It's cool to kind of see him with other figure lines, sort of like a crossover thing. Whoever thought we'd have Lord Zedd being able to stand next to, your Avengers figures or your Superman or whatever. This is just really cool. So, like I said, if you were looking at the Lightning Collection, this is one of the figures you were probably considering on getting, because this was the big moment. You know, they were doing Lord Zed, they're doing villains, and we've gotten a lot of villains so far. Other figures that came out this year were like Goldar, and we even got a Putty figure. Those figures were those figures were great, but Lord Zed, I feel, truly encapsulates what this line is all about, and it was a great way to start off with Wave 1. What a cool dude. My number 2 goes to the first Avenger Marvel Legends Captain America here. This came in a 2-pack with Peggy Carter, and this is based on his appearance in the first Avenger before he gets the new shield and the costume and everything. So this is a really good look. I love this look for Captain America. You get some awesome heads, and the head sculpt is really nice. Really has that Chris Evans look to it. He's got the nice World War II sort of design and feel. The shield is sort of muddied and not really damaged, but just muddied, but in the right amount. It's not over the top or anything. He comes with a lot of accessories, with like a gun and a knife and all sorts of cool stuff. So I don't know. I'm a Captain America fan. I'm a sucker for a good Captain America figure, and this guy was my favorite Captain America of the year. They also released the Endgame sort of Avengers, I guess, Quantum Suit, as we're calling it, and they also released him with Mjolnir, but this one out of the bunch was my favorite. I still need to get the motorcycle one. I never got around to getting that one, but this one's fantastic. Look at this guy. America. So, my number 1 figure of the year goes to the War for Cybertron Transformers Starscream. Now, Starscream is my favorite Transformer. He's my all-time favorite. He's my favorite guy. Arguably, Starscream is what got me into toy collecting in the first place. Because, you know, as a kid, kids have toys, kids have fun. But when Transformers came out, those films, I really got into sort of toy collecting. And this guy just looks great. He transforms into the Cybertronian sort of Tetrajet, which is fantastic. Like, that's sort of the first time Hasbro's attempted that, as far as I'm aware. And, you know, I'm not a huge fan of all the sort of muddied detail and everything, and the sort of battle. It's not even battle damage, it's just battle paint, I guess. All that famous mud on Cybertron, but I don't know. It's cool to see a unique yet classic design of my favorite character. He looks good, he poses well, he's great, and I love him for that. Like, this is, it's one of those moments where you pay a certain price point for a figure and you feel like you got that price point. So that's why Starscream is my personal favorite Transformer, but personal favorite figure of the year. Congrats, buddy. You earned it. So there you guys go. Those are my top 10 figures of the year. I realize now I'm looking at a lot of villains here, but you know, that's fine. Go ahead and let me know if you guys had some personal favorites, or any of these your favorites of the year. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. And like I said, if you want to go ahead and stick around for some words from me regarding the channel, some thanks and some ideas of the future, go ahead and stick around. But for now, these are my top 10 figures of the year. Well, guys, I certainly hope you enjoyed the top 10 list there. And as I mentioned multiple times, I just want to go ahead and give a little end of the year kind of thanks and things to look forward to in the future. So once again, thank you guys for making 2019 as fun as it was. I started the channel later half of 2018, and 2019 was a lot of fun. A lot of different toys, a lot of sort of seeing what I can and can't do on the channel. A lot of things blew up that I didn't expect, and some things didn't do as well as I expected. So it's a live and learn sort of process there. But thank you guys so much for subscribing, watching the videos, and enjoying toys as much as I do, hopefully. So I guess the elephant in the room right now regarding toy channels is the COPPA sort of situation right now. So long story short, pretty much the government is not happy with the way YouTube is advertising to children, which is completely understandable. There's a reason we have laws in entertainment and television to sort of restrict the amount of commercials that are given to children there. And because of that, YouTube is just sort of trying to do a blanket sort of statements across the board on how to fix this problem. Because of that, we really don't have a clear sort of understanding of what we're going to be able to do moving forward. They give you the option to mark on your channel if your content is specifically for children or not. Now, of course, my content isn't made exclusively for children. It's more of an all ages sort of video for you guys to enjoy, but it's kind of rough. I don't know if YouTube's just going to come down and say, hey, you talk about Power Rangers too much. You're a kid's channel. Gone. So I don't know exactly what we're going to be able to do with that. Hopefully, you know, we can just keep making videos and move past it, and hopefully stuff like this won't be affected as much. That probably won't be the case, but you know, we'll do what we need to do. That's just sort of if things kind of go downhill, that's just the way they are, unfortunately. And I thank you for the time you guys sort of gave me on the platform for now. Other than that, I do plan on other things. Nothing I can really say at the moment, but you know, podcasts seem to be the way to go nowadays, and I've talked to a lot of people, and they seem sort of up to it and excited about it. So maybe that's where I'll be going. Who knows? Probably. Let's be honest. But for now, we just have to act as everything is good as normal. Happy New Year, guys. I hope you had a happy holidays. Feel free to check out other videos maybe while you can. Subscribe, like, all that YouTube stuff. But thank you, guys. Have a good one.